Good evening, everyone. I call the Planning Commission meeting to order. It is Monday, October 6th at 6 o'clock. Do a roll call. Mike?
Here.
Bailey? Here. Steve?
Here.
Josh? Here. Okay. First item on the agenda is approve the Planning Commission minutes from September.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to approve the minutes from September. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is Foley Prescott LLC, site plan review for an expansion by Foley. Luke?
Thank you, Mayor. So the Foley Company has proposed an extension to their existing 67,218 square foot building. That's what that popped up. So this proposal is a 36,000 square foot addition. It is on the eastward side of the building. For a reminder, the Foley Company is located at 1750 Ryden Road, over in the Prescott Business Park. And per 635-120, site plan applications are subject to the review of the Plan Commission and final action of the council. So for the zoning of this building, it is in the I3 Mixed Industrial Commercial District. So this district is intended to accommodate light industrial and commercial uses with high site and design standards. The Foley Company, they have manufacturing, warehousing, and office space, which is aligned with the intent of the district. For the surrounding land use, this is in the Prescott Business Park, so various other industrial uses in the area, SV Labs to the south. They have Foley Company to the west, and then west of that building is the UNFI. And then to the east, that will also be dedicated to the Prescott Business Park. It is just undeveloped right now. And then to the north is agriculture in the town of Clifton. So because this is in the Prescott Business Park, it aligns with the intended goals and is consistent with all the neighboring buildings in the area. For the architectural standards, site plans are subject to follow architectural standards, and these proposed elevations demonstrate materials and colors that match or complement the existing facility, and the building height remains consistent with the current structure. And so the staff finds that this proposal meets the architectural standards as outlined in the code. For parking and loading, part of this extension, there are 54 stalls required. This is because there are 1.5 stalls per 1,000 square feet required for these manufacturing facilities. Foley Company has provided 62 total parking spots with 5 ADA accessible parking spots as well. And they also require 2 loading docks, which they have exceeded with 2 loading dock high bays and a 1 grade level overhead door. And so this also meets with the Prescott's parking and loading requirements here. Part of the landscape standards, so because this is an industrial use within the business park, it falls under the L2 basic landscape category, meaning that they need to have at least 1 tree per 30 linear feet along the street frontage. And then the same goes for the shrubs, except it's 6 per 30 linear feet along the street frontage. As you can see here, they have 19 trees, and they also have 119 shrubs within the landscape design. So that meets the requirement that is listed on the L2 requirements. For exterior lighting, Prescott Ordinance 635-75 states that no operation may produce intense glare and no light source may be directly visible beyond the boundaries of the industrial district. Compliance is required with 635-75 and will be enforced through the exterior lighting condition outlined in the resolution. If any exterior lights are added as part of the development in the future, they will be enforced through that ordinance. For utilities, since this is an extension, there aren't any new systems that need to be added. It is using existing services with a closed loop, and there's not too much more of a demand for it, and so there's no new connection or impact fees expected If they would like to change out the service or the meter, then that would be subject to impact fees. For stormwater and erosion control, because this is 6.6 acres total that are disturbed, a Wisconsin DNR notice of intent is required, and existing stormwater ponds and infiltration basin, they connect to the Dexter Street storm sewer. After this development, runoff will be 42 to 48% lower, with 97.6% of total suspended solids being removed. This exceeds the 80% requirement for that. And then the owner is responsible for long-term maintenance of the stormwater and erosion control. And with that, there's also a stormwater maintenance agreement required before the issuance of a building permit for it. So Foley has identified about $4 million in new investment to the community for this addition, and so they are asking for a development incentive. The addition will create about 22 jobs with wages in the $60,000 or above category range, plus benefits. And so this project does align with the city's development incentive guidelines. And so a development agreement has been put together. The real estate will have a guaranteed minimum assessed value and structures assistance with TID number 6 with payments made on a pay-as-you-go model. And the agreement is still pending reviews, revisions, and approval by Foley. So with that, staff recommend that the site plan for 1750 Ryden Road, or the Foley extension, be forwarded with the conditions as listed in the attached resolution and any other proposed changes made by the Plan Commission. And also, staff recommend the development agreement between the City of Prescott and Foley Prescott LLC be forwarded to council for consideration based on the positive economic impact on the community. And yeah.
Question. Okay, so I'm reading through, so Greg had some feedback regarding the plan, so have all those modifications been made, or that's what we also are including in the approval to go forward to council? So we have like removal and pre-construction erosion control plan, we have site plan, he had some notes, post-construction stabilization plan, grading plan, there's just a few notes that he had, so is all that incorporated now?
Yep. Those are incorporated into the resolution on there.
It is, okay. And then for the development agreement, that's still pending feedback that we need?
Correct.
Correct, we're working with Foley on, working with our assessor to try to determine the final valuation of the project, so we're working on finalizing that, so once we have those final pieces, we would be bringing that forward to council for consideration.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, I guess, anybody else?
Do you need a motion to move that to council?
Ideally, we'd have a motion for each one of these recommendations for the first and second.
I make a motion to recommend site plan for 1750 Ryden Road be forwarded with the conditions as listed in the attached resolution to the council.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the staff to recommend the site plan for 1750 Ryden Road. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
So do you need another one for the
Yep.
next one? I make a motion for the development agreement between the City of Prescott and Foley of Prescott be forwarded to council for consideration based on the positive income or economic impact of the community.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to recommend the development agreement between the City of Prescott and Foley be forwarded to the council. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what else we got?
Here you go.
All of a sudden it went
Number
crazy.
5.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Pine Meadows Capital Investment Partners LLC. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Trevor Boland, who's the CEO with Capital Investment Partners. He wanted to give just a overview of their organization and some of the other projects they've done.
Good evening, Plan Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you. I guess probably it was a month ago and I was here before and didn't have everything in a format for you guys, so I just wanted to come back and I said I'd give you some exteriors and interiors and a little bit more about the company itself. So if you could give me a minute or two, most certainly will do that. As I noted previously, we've managed about 1,250 units since the last couple of years. I've constructed 642 that provides a total investment to the communities. About 117 million of additional tax base, headquarters in Altoona with our satellite office in River Falls. Respective leadership team, C-suite, respective owners. Partnering with us, building impactful communities means a lot to us. It's our purpose. And it's more than just, we have every single employee write a purpose statement of what it means to them, and it may be different for the property maintenance technicians or the leasing agents or myself in the C-suite. But at the end of the day, I think we all can collectively agree that when we come home and we drive through one of our developments and the kids are all out playing in the parks and people are walking the trails, it's pretty cool that we can make an impact to the communities that we have. Core values, we recognize our staff once a week. They pick an individual employee that's demonstrating our core values. And if you read our fourth quarter of 2024 staff survey, culture was the #1 thing for us, and we're pretty proud of that. Try to stay within a 90-mile radius of Altoona. Recent projects, this is Peregrine Terrace and River Falls over by the high school, 92 units completed in June of 2022. Mill City Flats in New Richmond, kind of over by Aldi's Walmart High School, 88 units, that was completed in September of 23. West Fifth Townhomes, that's also in New Richmond, 48 units, completed in April of 23. The Current, that's where our leasing office currently is. It's on the north side past Tattersall, 105 units. Estover Terrace, that was a collaboration with a single-family twin home developer who took the very far north property. We developed 136 units, kind of over where the sign is for Estover. That's a 6-acre park with walking trails and fitness nodes and courts and the whole 9 yards. Over an acre dog park that's fenced in. We completed that in May of 2025. Northern Lights, Chippewa Falls, 60 units. First building will come online in October. The second one will be in December here. And our most recent project that we just had groundbreaking in Somerset will be 112 units with anticipation first building to be open in February, March of 26. Other projects we've done, Wasota Shores, Chippewa Falls, 136 multifamily in the far left, Cowboy Jack Saloon in Altoona, self-storage in River Falls, and a hotel in Menominee. A couple of references from the city of New Richmond as well as River Falls as references. Weiss Prescott, your anticipated population growth, your proximity to the Twin Cities marketplace, of course, the quality school that you currently have here, and its state rankings make it very attractable. Not a lot of building permits that have been issued for the multifamily side, more so for single family and twin homes. And a need that was present in your own housing study that was completed in 2022. In terms of site, 2 12-unit buildings being adjacent to the existing Prescott Housing Authority, sharing a bioretention on the very west side with the Housing Authority, and then, of course, our permanent storm pond in the southwest corner. with access to Pine Street and to James Street. And this was another building we did about 4 years ago. It kind of gives you just the exterior of what it's going to look like and the interior finishes, which would be pretty consistent. With that, I'll take any questions. If not, I'll turn it over to Matt. Thank you.
So, with that, obviously, as you can see within your agenda, this isn't, our typical project. This does have a lot of moving pieces on it, so I'm gonna try to go over things. And if you do have questions as I'm going through it, please stop me and ask them. We can touch base on that specific thing. So, as Trevor's already covered, Capital Investment Partners is the developer. The location, what we'd be proposing is actually 1600 Pine Street. What we'd also be looking at doing is then giving each building its own individual. So it'd be 1600 Pine Street for the building that's closer or facing, not facing, but more adjacent to Pine Street, and then 1541 James Street for the building that's closer to James Street. This project is targeting residents age 55 and older and intends to incorporate affordability, which we went over as part of that site plan that we reviewed. We'll get into that more here in a second as we move on. The Prescott Housing Authority currently owns most of the property, although the city of Prescott does own a portion. This housing authority was established in the late 1970s for senior and disabled housing. The two existing facilities, St. Croix Manor was built in 1979, and Water Tower Apartments was built in 1981. So Housing Authority did a 2021 assessment and found that about little over $3 million in repairs were needed. They also were looking then as a result to try to sell this 1 acre parcel that we're reviewing tonight in order to help fund some of those improvements. The other area that they are looking forward or looking towards to help funding some of these repairs is working with the USDA Rural Development MPR program for further aid. The surrounding land uses, to the north is Prescott Nursing and T-Clad, both within the C2 Commercial District, I2 Heavy Industrial. To the east is Single Family Home, or I2 Heavy Industrial. Apologize, that should actually be I don't think it's a single family home, but it is an industrial pole shed structure. And then the south, City Hall, Library, Police Department, we just changed this recently to high density residential. And then to the west, again, Prescott Housing Authority. So looking at the zoning currently, as we just changed it at our last meeting in September, is now R4 high density residential. R4 does allow for only one principal building plus 2 accessory buildings. So therefore, that one of the items that we're asking for you to consider is a PUD overlay. This will be then allow us to have 2 principal structures. This is similar to what the Housing Authority is itself. It has 2 principal structures on the one lot. And additionally, there's a condominium in Shane Park Circle that also has 3 multifamily buildings on it that was approved. Additionally, as part of this project, this came in back in May of this year. So at that time it was zoned commercially. So one of the things that's been looked at, and overall to the site constraint issues that we have, is looking at those setbacks. So right now, unrequired, the front yard setback is 20 feet. Under the previous, it was 25 feet. The proposed is over 40 feet. The rear is 20 feet, and the C2 previous was 15. What they're proposing right now is 15. And then the side under R4 is 12. The previous was C2, and what they're proposing is 10 feet on the north and 25 feet on the south. So with the PUD overlay, is essentially allowing for those setback changes for the rear of 5 feet and the side of 2 feet, and then allowing for 2 principal buildings on the same lot.
Is that something we need to go back and look at? Are we gonna run into this again? I'm just asking from the zoning perspective.
Well, specifically for the setback issue is because of the constraints of the lot overall. It's
Yeah.
only got 1 acre, so there's just not much you can do on it. To provide, the ultimate flexibility with the PUD is this exact process as people come in, it allows you to make the ultimate decision of a yes or no on those things.
That's why you have a PUD.
Parking loading, currently our code requires 1 stall per bedroom. That's 32 bedrooms, which is being proposed, 32 stalls required. The developer is proposing 32 stalls, including 2 ADA accessible stalls, so this exceeds the minimum standards. From the architectural standards, this must align with surrounding character. The designs are similar to the Housing Authority. Trevor just showed you what the example, what the exterior will look like. Per our code, it does require facade articulation for widths over 100 feet. The developer has provided the elevation, and it does meet our code. It's going to have varied wall planes. You can see how they, as in the picture, articulate here as the composite composite siding and then cultured stone along with the window incorporated throughout. For landscaping standards, per 635-107, this would fall under L2 landscaping standards. Additionally, or I should say, looking at the landscaping standards for trees, 1 per 30 feet along street frontage required is 7. They're proposing 7, and then shrubs required is 42, and they're proposing 54. Finally, for R4, the impervious cannot exceed 70% with the stormwater ponds. They are proposing 61.3%, so they meet both of these conditions. Just to take a look at the overall landscaping plan, you can see the trees mainly along Pine Street and then fronting James Street as well, and then incorporating the shrubs throughout the building as well. Exterior lighting, so none at this time is being proposed, but just as the last site plan review, if there is any added in the future, it doesn't have to comply with 635-75 of our zoning code, which requires no glare or visible light beyond the site boundaries. Stormwater and erosion control. This private development does have 3 proposed bioretention facilities. As a result of the site constraints, 2 of the bioretention ponds that share the border with the Housing Authority actually extend beyond their lot dimensions. The Prescott Housing Authority has reviewed this, and this is part of the reason why we put together the development agreement. They have approved this with the understanding within the development agreement that the developer isn't responsible for maintaining all 3 of these ponds per the agreement. And then again, grading, ensuring drainage away from buildings. This was reviewed by our city engineer, Greg Adams, and he put together the conditions that are in your packet, and those will be incorporated into the resolution. Looking at utilities, so one of the unique things, and I'm not sure exactly why it was developed this way, but we don't have water running all the way down Pine Street. Right now, it ends at James Street. So one of the things that we looked at as part of this development is working with the developer to make sure that this water is looped all the way through the parking lot and comes out at Pine Street. So right now, we're not proposing running water down Pine Street, but in the future, when we do get to the point when we do run water down Pine Street, what we'd be looking to do is add a water main, and then we connect here, and this would loop the whole site through James Street and then connect over to Borner here as well. So as part of the development agreement, working with the developer, our share for that is $25,595 to come out of our water fund. Additionally, then the sewer would connect as well off Pine Street, and for whatever reason, we do have sewer that runs all the way down Pine
We
Street.
have sewer, but we don't have water.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then one of the conditions that we do want to make sure we're coordinating on Pine Street, because basically right here, directly across the street is the exit for our police and EMS. So just making sure as the street's open that we're coordinating and we're on the same page with what the conditions will be like, and that those emergency vehicles are either out of the parking lot for that day or 2 or however long it's open, or if there's just making sure they can access it if it's not completely ripped up. So looking at the sale of the land, as I mentioned, the land is currently combinationally owned by the city of Prescott and Prescott Housing Authority. From what we can tell, so this was quite an endeavor to figure all this out, but the city originally purchased a large chunk of land in 1978 before dedicating the land to the Prescott Housing Authority that they currently have their buildings on in 1979. Further, than a piece that we also owned was sold to what is now the Prescott Nursing Home in 1984. However, at no time during any of this process was any of the right-of-way for James Street ever dedicated. So as land was set aside by the city as this land is set aside for public housing purposes, it does require Plan Commission to review and give a recommendation of the sale per Wisconsin state statutes. An appraisal was completed for the parcel that's being looked at for development by Bowery. and they gave the land evaluation of $240,000, so that is what the sale price is for this piece of property. The full amount of the sale, although a portion is owned by the city, the full amount of the sale will be going to the Prescott Housing Authority to support their building repairs and rehabilitation. So this is unique in the fact that we are requiring 2 separate certified surveys, so we're asking you essentially to pre-approve one. So the first certified survey is essentially breaking up the land, so we have the separate owners and we can work with the title company. So the first CSM will have 4. So the lot 1 will be the current Prescott Housing Authority. Lot 2 will be the future Pine Meadows. Then outlot 2 would be this undedicated, unimproved portion of James Street. And then outlot 1 will be the undedicated but improved portion of James Street. So then we follow that up with the second CSM, which then that will combine that outlot 2 with the lot 2 to form the full development for the proposed Pine Meadows. And as part of the CSM2, then we would be officially dedicating the right-of-way for what is now James Street.
And this is just to
approved.
get the purchase agreement kind of?
Just to get all the pieces so that the title company can actually
Got it.
get everything split and worked out. So the final piece is that development agreement. So Prescott Housing Authority, as we discussed last time as part of the concept plan, is requesting the land be both for seniors and affordable. So additionally, what we've heard from many in the community is that they're looking for a 55-plus senior living facility. So currently the city has an affordable housing fund which has a balance of just under $350,000. So part of this development agreement, what we are looking to contribute is $81,000 from the affordable housing fund. As this would be something that would happen at time of permit to the developer. $240,000, which is equal to the land's purchase value from the affordable housing fund. This would be at the time of certificate of occupancy once the building and project is completely done. Then the $25,595 for reimbursement, and that's for the actual water main extension coming from our water fund. Then the developer is obligated that they will maintain affordability and 55-plus targeting for 15 years. They'll submit an annual rent registry to the city. They agree to pay the standard impact fees, which for this project will be $88,136, and then they will maintain all the stormwater ponds located on both parcels. So with that, we have 6 different items for your review and approval tonight, so I'll turn it over to you for comments and questions I can go through. Basically, the first one is the site plan, second one is that PUD overlay, the sale agreement, development agreement, and then the 2 separate certified survey maps.
I don't have any questions. You answered all of them, because I was kind of curious why we had so many of the site approvals as I was reading through, but I guess I would make a motion to approve resolution XX-25 approving site plan for a multifamily development at the proposed 1600 Pine Street.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the site plan for the new multi-family development at 1600 Pine Street. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, okay.
Then I make a motion to approve resolution XX-25 approving a plan unit development overlay for Pine Meadows multifamily development within the R4 high-density residential zoning.
And I'll second that one too.
Okay, we have a motion and a second approving the planned unit development overlay for the Pine Meadows multifamily development. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Make a motion to approve purchase and sale agreement between the City of Prescott, PM Prescott LLC, and the Housing Authority of the City of Prescott.
And I'll second that one.
Motion and a second to approve the purchase and sale agreement
Oh, yeah.
between the City of Prescott and PM Prescott LLC and the Housing Authority of the City of Prescott. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, make a motion on the development agreement between the City of Prescott, PM Prescott LLC, and the Housing Authority of the City of Prescott.
Second, go ahead.
Have a motion and a second to approve the development agreement between the City of Prescott, PM Prescott LLC and the Prescott Housing Authority. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then motion to approve certified survey map number 1 for creating 2 lots and 2 outlets as part of the current housing authority of the city of Prescott and undedicated James Street.
Second?
Motion is second to approve certified survey map 1, creating 2 lots and 2 outlots as part of the current housing authority of the city of Prescott on dedicated James Street. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Last but not least, motion to approve certified survey map number 2, creating lot 3 for the development proposed for Pine Meadows and formally dedicating James Street to the public.
And a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the certified survey map number 2, creating lot 3 for the development proposed at Pine Meadows and formally dedicating James Street to the public. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carried. Thank you, Matt. Okay,
Number 6.
The only question on the housing, is there any lights in the parking lots up there now? At the, they're proposing no exterior lights in front. Is there any lights at all at that parking lot?
In the parking lot itself, I
Yeah.
don't believe so, but on the building, there are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that is, because they're expecting there to do none, that's why I was just wondering if
What?
there should be a couple.
I don't know if there's gonna be none, they just didn't call it any in the site plan, so we were just mentioning that if there are, they have to meet
They'll
the.
probably
but
be
I-
in the front of the building,
Oh, yeah, if they're in the front of the building, anything to,
but no,
The sidewalks.
parking lot lights.
okay.
Yeah.
Here to the plan. Stuff that
That's
we
the only
have
thing
called
I
out for
had.
exterior
At
lighting.
least something for the sidewalks, at least to get there. Okay, I'm good.
all right. Next item on the agenda is certified survey map adjusting lot dimensions for lots 4, 1240 Pearl Street, and 5 at 1250 Pearl Street for the CSM Volume 15, page 7. Luke?
Thank you. So this certified survey map, the proposal is on 1240 Pearl Street and 1250 Pearl Street. This is north of Highway 10 over near Fairy Wonderland Park. So this proposal is proposing that the east 30 feet of Lot 4 or 1240 Pearl Street North be transferred over to Lot 5. With these 2 lots, they are in different zoning districts. So Lot 5, 1250 Pearl Street, is in the C2 Highway Commercial, and the Lot 4 is in R1 Mixed Residential. So with this, the applicant has also submitted a zoning request to bring the 30-foot strip to assume the C2 zoning instead of the current R1 zoning. So as per Prescott Ordinance 51013, all certified survey maps must be reviewed by the Plan Commission and approved by the Common Council. And staff found that the lot line adjustment is compliant with all the code ordinance, and the accessory structures on lot 4 remain compliant, and this conforms with the city and state regulations. So this is the certified survey map. You can't see my mouse, but it's that little 30-foot strip just north of lot 12 there that is being proposed to transfer over to lot 13, which is 1250 Pearl Street.
Do you want to just go over there and point at it so they can see?
Yeah. Oh, there's my mouse.
I see it.
So yeah, it's this part right here that will be turned over to this lot. And then this is the same thing with the rezoning map. This 30-foot strip is currently R1 zoning as it's a part of this lot. With the certified survey map and the rezoning map, this will be transferred over to this, which will assume the C2 Highway Commercial Zoning District. So with that, staff recommend forwarding the enclosed resolution for the reconfiguration of lots 4 and 5 of CSM 15-7 to council for approval.
Make the motion.
Maybe I missed it, but was there a purpose why they would want to do that?
So it was for 1250 Pearl Street. They wanted to have it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the applicant's here if you want to come up and state with us.
Hi, Jason Wagaman, 1240 Pearl Street, property owner. The rear lot line right now runs halfway in between like a gravel parking lot, and I don't use any of that area. The commercial lot owner uses it to get in and out of the buildings with, he has long trailers and whatnot. So we agreed between the two of us that we would move the line 30 feet towards our house, and then that way I can establish more of a rear property line, whether it be grass, a fence, or whatever. Because right now, there's just nothing back there differentiating the two properties. So that's the purpose for it, I guess.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve the certified survey map to reconfigure lots 4 and 5, CS 75-17. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is comprehensive plan updates. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So it's been a couple months since we last did this, but basically tonight we'll be going over an overview of Chapter 7, which is utilities and community facilities. And then in our next meeting, we'll go over the goals, policy, and objectives like we've been doing. So wanted to first go over the survey results for this chapter. So for community facilities, we asked, should the city improve connections to between existing parks and geographic and green spaces, I should say, sorry. 67% said they want the city to improve these connections, and then 69% felt they were satisfied with the number and the quality of parks in Prescott. There were about 30% who were dissatisfied with our overall maintenance or improvements needed regarding safety, equipment, and greenery. They felt they wanted more trails or the expansion of routes, and then one of the things we've started to hear more about is the request for a dog park within the community. Community facilities, and I apologize, I'm not against the dog park, just the way
am.
Bailey gave me that.
I'll just.
Oh, I'm
making
not
it
a
up.
big fan of it
There's
either.
a few reasons why, but I might be confused right now.
I just could see lawsuits.
No, there's a number of things that go with dog
Yeah.
parks.
And then we asked, does the city provide enough passive recreation facility for all ages? 22% of responders did not believe enough passive recreation facilities are provided, listing the following reasons. More trails for walking and hiking, as well as trails with better connectivity throughout the city. Park variety, residents would like to see additional green space and newer developments, areas such as Pine Ridge or Great Rivers. And then lack of a dog park or facility such as pools or sports courts.
Can we just put in more pickleball courts?
Yeah, we just.
And we did, yes,
It kinda
that's
sounds
true.
like we kinda added
Some of
to all
this,
this
Was
yeah.
some of this
already.
like in the middle of the survey, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, this was done back earlier this year in
Before we had the pickleball courts in?
March and April,
Okay.
yes. Community facilities, so 41% of responders do not believe enough active recreation facilities are provided, listing the following reasoning. Interested in a YMCA type facility, indoor pool, skate park upgrades, movie theater, and more options for all ages. Desire for more hiking, biking, and walking trails in both natural areas and connected paved urban paths. Concerned over the lack of playgrounds and parks near residential areas and the need for public recreation spaces, but not tied to the school district or limited by age group. And then finally, we asked about a combined new government facility that the city is considering based on our space needs assessment and the fact that we are, as a growing city, running out of space in a number of our departments, or they're extremely aging. For the public safety facilities, there was strong support for updating or expanding police, fire, and EMS facilities due to outdated infrastructure and operational needs. Library expansion, some valued it as it is a space with potential for more programming and events, while others were arguing that with digital media, there is not a need for expansion. Cost concerns, many were opposed to a new civic building or major expansions, emphasizing renovation over construction. Community amenities, continued interest in trails, walkable spaces, a community center, and especially a dog park. Separate civic functions, and then there was some preference to not consolidate our departments and governmental services, preferring to keep them separate to ensure each facility is suited to its purpose. So overall, 41.9% said no, do not look at a new government facility. 30.1% said yes. And then a number of people were, or 26.82% were not sure, and number of responses were, I need more information before I can say yes or no to this question.
Can you remind me again, how many, are these all residents or are these?
The vast
Yes.
majority of our, I can't remember how many exactly answered. I think it was,
Ballpark?
there was only like 10 to 12 that were not
Okay,
actual
so
Prescott
majority
residents.
are from here, okay.
And those 10 to 12 responses that were included in this were all, I think, Oak Grove. Yeah,
But there were what?
in Oak Grove.
Oh.
So with that, I'll turn it over to Greg to go over more items within the chapter.
Thanks, Matt. Yep. So that's not on the PowerPoint, correct? It would just be,
Yeah, just the items that were,
Okay.
the actual draft of the chapter, which is within your packet.
and Josh Miller, our senior planner, has been working with this. You probably had several meetings with him. He is on vacation, so I've reviewed some of these things, because it is utilities and other facilities types of things. So really, picking up from what Matt had just did in that intro, the 7.2 is utilities. So in general, utilities covers the water main or water supply system, sanitary sewer system, storm sewer, solid waste, and then other, I guess, private facilities, power, energy systems, telecommunication, and some of the community facilities that Matt was just describing in the polls that were taken. So largely what this does is kind of evaluates the current water system, and you're probably aware of quite a bit of the work that the city's doing with the new well and other water treatment facilities. That's summarized in here, so that can be part of the plan moving forward. The sanitary sewer system, similarly, not as far down that path as the water system is, but just starting that process of some of the evaluation of the wastewater treatment capacity, growth, things that the city will need for, having that growth potential for new industry and residential growth. The stormwater system, basically a summary of that, basically looking at the drainage improvements, things that the city has been doing to address stormwater issues, continuing that moving forward. The solid waste recycling, just kind of a summary of what the city is doing with that. Talks about the contracts that the city has with waste providers. Telecommunication facilities. Basically, the big thing there is with the fiber optic rollouts that have been happening over the last almost 10 years now. The use of any towers within the city for other private telecommunication companies. Describes the energy systems. XL Energy and Pierce Pepin provide service in the city. Talks about the St. Croix Valley Natural Gas as the provider largely throughout the city of Prescott. And some of the other things on photovoltaic, electrical generation, wind, and other more green energy discussions on that. The community facilities, it basically is summarizing the features that the city has, City Hall, the police department, the fire department, the EMS, public works departments, their facilities, and the Prescott compost site. It discusses the library, all the parks, open space and recreational facilities that the city has. I guess more discussion on all of the parks in general, Freedom Park, the riverfront, some of the things there that have been going on the riverfront project in particular over the last, about 4 years with the 2 phased projects. The Welcome and Heritage Center, the schools, medical facilities.
Is it typical that we list stuff that's not actually owned by city in here? I'm just wondering.
The schools, you mean?
Well, there's schools, I mean, I thought we sold the Heritage Building for $1.
I guess I'm not sure. I can talk to Josh about
Question, yeah.
I was just more
why we have the
curious.
medical facilities and elderly care facilities, since they're not public or community. I guess
Yeah.
probably what Josh's input would be, since they're a community for needs of services as you age in the community. That's, I'm guessing, in treating the communities, whether in the.
Okay.
It's similar to like the energy discussion and telecommunications, you don't own that either, but it's just kind of describing the features that are part of within the city, not part of it, but within the city.
Yeah, the utilities made sense to me, it's just those ones I was wondering about.
Yeah. Obviously, it's nothing that the city has maybe any direction on or guidance for, but it is generally describing that. I think from either it's a planning document, oftentimes those get pulled in. That's a good point, and I can make a note of that
The only one I'm wondering about is the Prescott Heritage Center, if there's a way where we can, differentiate. It's called us, and people probably still assume it's ours, but it's not. So I don't know.
basically just acknowledging that at this point, this is not owned.
Privately owned, but
Privately
in the
owned.
community.
Okay, yep,
Just so they don't
Good
come back
point.
and, especially with just that building is the one that's making me think about it.
yeah, no, that's a good point.
I think the other ones make sense, that we don't own
The school
an
and
elderly
the
care facility.
Hospitals, yeah, no, that's a
Scary
good
if city
point.
starts owning those.
Because
Movie theater.
Or a movie theater.
yeah, because that was kind of right at the tail end of the parks and other public
I don't know,
places,
people
so
still go to movies.
I can make that note.
Pretty much download whatever you want.
There you go, I don't go anywhere, stay at home.
I guess continuing on through there, it does also go through the care facilities, medical, elderly care, child care facilities. There again, it just kind of reiterates, but like how many care facilities that there are in the city. I think it's all those things that kind of help with your growth, things that you might be either you have a lot of or deficient in. These are the things that would kind of show up.
I'm guessing this is referenced when we have to go get grants or something, so we're trying to list off as much as we can. Yeah.
And then programs, these are some of the things that the city has been utilizing. You've got some state programs on solid and hazardous waste education center, rural community assistance program, community development block grant for public facilities. That is something that now that with the last update of income surveys, Prescott is now community development block grant eligible, which is a nice funding source for the city. The other community development block grant would be the for economic facilities for economic development.
So we could, if I may,
Mhm.
so now that we're eligible for that, when we do our public facility improvement, we could apply for a grant for that.
Correct, yeah, and that is upwards of $1 million, and it's a 2/3, 1/3 grant, so ideally you'd have a $1.5 million project and you could get $1 million in funding. The big thing with that is the projects have to be viewed as a community-wide benefit. So a repair of a street and utilities, maybe on a dead-end corner of the city, probably isn't going to, in the eyes of the agency, probably not fit that application. We've had a lot of success getting block grants, and our grant people really we actually look at projects and kind of run them by the agencies before even going further down a path but we really try to guide communities into which ones we feel would fit. And so you're not going down, a wasted effort. And so that is a big part of it.
Is that a yearly thing? I mean, if you,
Yeah,
let's say you
yep.
got one for one project and you had another really eligible project, you could apply for it like the following year?
I think you can only, it's
Every 3 years.
only every
You see
3
that?
years, yeah, every community can only have one every 3 years,
Okay.
yes, thanks, Matt. I was
Thanks.
thinking
I'm
it was
just
every 2 or 3.
I'm channeling Lynn right now.
Yeah.
And just to bring up one of the issues that we are having is community development block grant for public facilities, for whatever reason, can't cover police stations. It can cover fire stations. However, since our fire department is combined with Elk Grove and Clifton, we would qualify, but as soon as you bring in Elk Grove and Clifton, we no longer qualify because they do not have.
What are Public Works, Ken?
I don't know, we haven't looked into that one because we have not, specific, like our sewer treatment plant could if we have water systems as we look at that.
Yep. Yeah, those are the projects Matt's mentioned would really qualify as a community-wide benefit, wastewater, water systems, public facility buildings, but it is odd that police is not eligible, and we don't really know the reason why, but. And there's some of the other grant assistance programs that are kind of geared for infrastructure facilities. That's added into this section. Then I believe it's the last section, goals and objectives, I think is the last section. And like on 7.5, some were taken from the past plan. This is still a draft format. But it talks about, just the objectives moving forward for this. I could run through some of these, to increase public education to reduce the demand for city utilities, increase the use of renewable energy resources. I don't know if you want me to run through all of these objectives and policies.
We can read.
If there's any that,
I think the idea is, we were just giving an introduction, the next meeting we'll bring back and go over the goals, objective and policies and actually let you determine if we want to add things, change things, and we'll actually review them all.
I'd like to talk about the solid waste and recycling. It says Pierce County Recycling has recycling bins at the Prescott Public Works Department at State Trunk Highway 35.
They're up.
They do not.
No,
Yeah,
by
we'll
Foley.
have to change that.
yeah, that got relocated, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And even prior to that, they were at McGee Park.
Yeah.
Dumping ground.
I went to McGee Park and had my truck completely stacked with cardboard. Like I couldn't close my topper, and I'm like, where is the topper? And I drove home, and I'm like, I think I remember seeing something like they
They moved.
moved. I go online, I'm like, oh, cool, they're
Is
right by
that
my
when I
house.
was on? I think that
So
was-
you didn't have to go very
I think
far
that was
anyway.
me.
I do, to that point, there really should be an effort to actually find a permanent home. One of the issues that we have continually with those is that people turn them into
Dumping
dumping
sites.
sites.
Yeah.
It just happened
Yeah.
2 weeks ago where somebody
Can
literally
you put
took
like a
a
giant sign up and put a trail cam
Burn
out there?
barrel and
Well,
dumped
it
it
should be
out.
somewhere where you could actually put a
I
camera.
mean, the forestry group
I think
does
they
that.
did that out in Oak Grove. They put a camera on it.
Did they?
I mean, I was
Mhm.
just
They
up in
actually
Cable
caught
this
people
last weekend. They
doing
had
it and went
trail
after them.
cam.
Well, and then like Clifton is at Town Hall,
Where's the
so
Oak
that'd be
Grove?
easy to throw a camera up.
Where's the Oak Grove one at?
Just put a sign that says
On,
Jesus sees you.
Yeah.
off of F, double F.
Jesus sees you and just.
Oh,
put
that's
the image
Cliff.
up
That's Clifton,
and
though.
just
Yeah,
put
I
it
didn't-
right
I didn't
next
think
to
we
it.
had.
Okay, maybe it's the Clifton one.
So
At
there,
the town hall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they put a
yeah.
camera in.
I was just wondering where there was one in Oak
I'm
Grove,
sorry.
I didn't
Wrong.
picture where it was.
Wrong township.
Yeah.
and the other thing I just wanna note, Matt, is like for the policies and stuff, there's a bunch of stuff in here again regarding metrics, like, we don't have resource to be, like, when we're talking metrics, I mean, I do that at my job, like, if we wanna report things out, I don't know if we're gonna have matrices that we're gonna be constantly in KPIs that we're gonna be reporting out here. I think I've brought that up on like every single one that says metrics. So unless it's something that we're actually gonna do at a certain cadence where it's value add, I think it should go. So there's just a few, there's only one that I saw so far, I think it's number, I just saw it here, number 10 on the policies. Just like, what are the metrics? Just as metrics.
Sure.
Yeah, we talked about that, Josh, on the other things that we've gone over.
I think I've like flagged it on everyone,
He's
where I'm like,
taking
what are
that
the
off.
metrics? Cool, yeah. We don't need key performance indicators right now for this, some of it's out of our control.
Yeah, and I feel that these would be the parts that you would want to weigh in most on,
Yeah,
the objectives and policies. So that's why it was just, some of these were taken from the past. It's probably more of just a, I think, to get the
Number thir-
ideas,
yeah.
Rolling.
Number 13's a tricky one too, so I'll be curious to know like how we're gonna do that. School. Or
Continue
communications,
communication with the Prescott School District.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. They're a separate entity.
Didn't say you were gonna succeed,
Yeah.
just communicate.
Okay, any other questions or comments on that?
Nope,
Okay,
Okay, thank you, everybody.
thanks.
thank you.
So then, other business, next meeting is
November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Okay.
Mine says, oh, that's the wrong one. November 3rd at 6 o'clock. Is there any other business? Matt, Luke?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
A motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Clear out.
Quick and easy.